Chosen one, before you do anything else, pause for a moment and take this in slowly, because this is not a motivational phrase, and it is not something meant to excite you for a few seconds. God is doing something new in 2026, and the danger is not that he won't act, but that many will miss it because they are looking for the wrong signs. New does not always arrive with noise. Sometimes it arrives with a quiet unsettling, a deep inner nudge that says, "You can't stay here anymore." Even when everything around you looks the same, if you've felt restless lately without knowing why, if familiar routines suddenly feel empty, if things you once prayed for no longer satisfy you, that is not confusion. That is transition. God often begins new seasons by loosening your attachment to the old one. He does this gently at first, then more clearly, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Because carrying yesterday's mindset into tomorrow's assignment will exhaust you before you even begin. Many people assume that when God does something new, it will look like instant change, instant success, instant relief. But God's new works usually begin internally before they ever become visible. He reshapes perspective before circumstances. He adjusts discernment before direction. And if you've noticed that your prayers have shifted from asking for things to asking for clarity, that is evidence that something new is already in motion. You are not being delayed, you are being repositioned. 2026 is not about rushing forward, it is about moving correctly. God is less interested in how fast you go and more interested in whether you are aligned. Speed without alignment leads to burnout. Momentum without wisdom leads to collapse. So God slows you down not to frustrate you, but to protect you from entering the next season unprepared. Think about how much you've changed already. You don't react the same way. You don't chase validation the same way. You don't tolerate certain things you used to excuse. That growth did not happen accidentally. It happened because God was shaping you quietly while you thought you were just surviving. This is why some people feel distant now. This is why certain conversations no longer flow. This is why you feel less willing to over-explain or overextend. You are not becoming cold, you are becoming clear. And clarity always costs you access to environments that thrive on confusion. God is teaching you how to recognize what drains you before it empties you. That awareness will matter in 2026, because not everything that looks good will be good for you. Not every opportunity will be aligned. Not every open door will be yours to walk through. Discernment will be one of your greatest protections. Many miss what God is doing because they are waiting to feel ready. But readiness in the kingdom does not always feel like confidence. Often it feels like surrender, like obedience without full understanding, like taking the next step without seeing the whole staircase. And if that feels familiar, it's because you're already practicing faith at a higher level than before. God is not repeating lessons you've already learned. He is building on them. And the reason the process feels different now is because you're no longer being shaped through chaos. You're being shaped through awareness. That's a sign of maturity. You may have expected God to fix everything first before moving you forward. But God often moves you forward and fixes things along the way. Because growth happens in motion, not stagnation, and the new thing God is doing in 2026 will require you to trust Him beyond what you can immediately explain to others. This is also why comparison feels heavier now. You're no longer satisfied watching others move while you feel stuck. But hear this clearly: their timeline is not your reference point. God measures readiness differently. What looks like delay to you may be protection from something you were never meant to carry. You are not behind. You are being prepared with intention. God is also exposing distractions that once felt harmless. Things that used to numb you no longer work. Habits that once soothed you now feel empty. That's not boredom. That's awakening. God is calling your attention back to purpose, back to presence, back to discipline, not as restriction, but as freedom. Because freedom is not doing everything you want. Freedom is having the clarity to choose what won't destroy your future. In 2026, God is not calling you to be louder. He's calling you to be steadier, not more visible, but more grounded. Not more busy, but more intentional. And this shift may frustrate the version of you that was trained to measure progress by activity instead of alignment. But alignment changes everything. You may notice that your intuition is sharper now. You sense things before they happen. You feel peace or resistance without explanation. That is not anxiety. That is discernment strengthening. And discernment is essential for the new season because God will not babysit you through it. He will trust you to choose wisely. This is also why some doors are closing without discussion. Some people are exiting without closure. Some plans are dissolving without replacement, yet God is not being cruel. He is being precise. He is clearing space so the new thing does not compete with what should have ended. Do not rush to fill the gap. Silence is often where direction becomes clear. Many will miss what God is doing in 2026 because they are addicted to noise. They need constant stimulation, constant reassurance, constant validation. But God speaks most clearly to those who can sit still long enough to listen. And if you're learning to be comfortable in stillness, you're already ahead. The new thing God is doing will not flatter your ego. It will challenge your discipline. It will stretch your responsibility. It will require consistency, not intensity. And that's why He's training you now to show up even when motivation fades. You are learning how to walk by conviction instead of emotion. This season is not about dramatic breakthroughs. It's about sustainable transformation. About becoming someone who can carry what they prayed for without losing themselves in the process. God cares about who you are becoming more than what you are receiving. So do not miss this moment by assuming nothing is happening. Do not miss it by forcing outcomes. Do not miss it by clinging to versions of yourself that God has already outgrown. What God is doing in 2026 will unfold gradually, but it will be undeniable. And when you look back, you will realize that the preparation mattered just as much as the promise. Stay attentive, stay humble, stay obedient. Because the new thing has already begun. As you move closer to 2026, understand this clearly. What God is doing next will not be sustained by excitement alone. It will be sustained by depth, by consistency, by a quiet strength that does not need constant confirmation. That is why this season has been training you internally. God is not preparing you for a moment. He is preparing you for a responsibility. Many people pray for change, but resist the inner adjustments that change requires. They want new results without new disciplines. But God does not pour new wine into old wineskins. If He did, both would be lost. So before He releases what is new, He renews the container. That container is you. You may have noticed that your tolerance for chaos has decreased. Things that once felt normal now feel heavy. Environments that once energized you now leave you drained. That is not weakness. That is refinement. God is sharpening your sensitivity so you do not ignore what your spirit is trying to warn you about. This is also why certain temptations feel different now. Not necessarily stronger, but less appealing. The pleasure is shorter. The cost is clearer. That awareness is protection. And protection will matter in 2026 because expansion always attracts distraction. God is teaching you to recognize what looks good but leads nowhere. You are learning how to choose long-term peace over short-term relief. Another reason this season feels intense is because God is teaching you how to carry weight without collapsing under it. What is coming will require emotional maturity. You will not be able to react the way you once did. You will not be able to disengage every time something feels uncomfortable. You will need discernment, restraint, and courage. And God never demands what He has not already trained you for. If you've been learning to pause before responding, to pray before deciding, to reflect instead of react, that is not accidental. That is preparation. God is aligning your inner world with the authority He plans to entrust you with. 2026 will also require you to let go of the need to be understood by everyone. Some people will misinterpret your obedience. Others will misunderstand your boundaries. But clarity does not require consensus. God did not call you to be explained. He called you to be aligned. This is where many hesitate. They fear losing connection. They fear disappointing others. But obedience to God will sometimes look like distance to people who benefited from your over-availability. And that does not mean you are wrong. It means the season has shifted. God is not removing love from your life. He is redefining access. You may also notice that your prayers are becoming simpler but deeper. Less about outcomes and more about direction. Less about control and more about trust. That shift is crucial, because what God is doing next will require flexibility. You will not have every detail mapped out. You will need to move with Him, not ahead of Him. This is why faith is being refined now. Not faith that believes when things are obvious, but faith that remains steady when clarity unfolds slowly. That kind of faith sustains you when the new thing stretches longer than expected. Another truth many avoid: God is not obligated to explain everything before He moves. Sometimes explanation comes after obedience. And if you're waiting for full understanding before stepping forward, you may remain stuck even while God is opening doors. The new thing in 2026 will not be announced to everyone. It will be revealed to those who are paying attention, those who are disciplined in prayer, those who are willing to release what no longer aligns, those who are willing to trust God even when the path feels unfamiliar. This season is teaching you how to walk without leaning on external validation, how to hear God's voice without needing constant signs, how to trust His leading without asking for repeated confirmation. That independence in faith is not rebellion, it is maturity. You are not losing your need for God, you are losing your dependence on noise. You may also feel a growing urgency to clean things up, your schedule, your habits, your finances, your thought patterns. That is not pressure. That is alignment. God is helping you remove friction so when momentum comes, it does not derail you. Order creates capacity, and capacity determines how much you can carry without breaking. Some people will be surprised by how steady you become. They expect you to react the way you used to. They expect you to stay in roles you've already outgrown. But God is not interested in maintaining old versions of you for the comfort of others. He is interested in establishing you in truth. This does not mean 2026 will be easy. It means it will be purposeful. Challenges will come, but they will not confuse you. Opposition may arise, but it will not derail you. Because you will not be operating from desperation. You will be operating from conviction. And conviction creates resilience. You will know when the new thing begins, not because everything becomes perfect, but because things begin to make sense. Your steps will feel intentional. Your decisions will feel grounded. Your peace will remain even when outcomes are uncertain. That is how alignment feels. So do not rush this process. Do not minimize what God is doing in you now. Do not assume that because the progress is quiet, it is insignificant. Some of the most powerful transformations happen without applause. What God is doing in 2026 will not be something you chase. It will be something you step into, prepared, aware, and grounded. Stay faithful in the small adjustments. Stay disciplined in the quiet moments. Stay open without being reckless. Because the new thing is not coming to test you. It is coming to establish you.